Hello and welcome to my tarot channel. I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com. I'm also the author of the best-selling Fearless Tarot and the newly released Tarot in Love, Consulting the Cards in Matters of the Heart, both of which are available from Llewellyn Books. And it's time for this month's tarot reading for every astrological sign. I'm going to pick a couple of cards for each sign. I'm going to start with Aries and I'm going to end with Pisces. And there's these convenient timestamps at the bottom of your screen of which you can quickly scroll to your relevant information. If you want an even more nuanced reading, you might also want to listen to the message for your astrological moon sign and rising sign. And without further ado, let's go into the Tarotscopes for this next month of August 2023. So let's go into the astrological sign of Aries. So if you're an Aries or have a lot of Aries in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for August 2023. And the card we get here is the Five of Wands. And here we see the five adolescents. They're all struggling with one another. They're all trying to prove who's got the biggest stick. And what this card can indicate is that this is a time of competition, struggle. Sometimes competition can be good. It can make you make yourself better by looking at what other people are doing and saying, okay, you know what? I can do that. I can also improve that part of my life right now. Let's see where this goes. But where the Five of Wands can be troublesome is sometimes that comparison game, looking at other people and then judging yourself harshly as a result of what you might have to show for things at this stage of your journey is a little misleading. The adolescents are telling you that you might need a more mature perspective when it comes to assessing your own progress or what you're focusing on at this time. This could also be a time where the five adolescents could represent like five different thoughts in your own head right now, which are in conflict. This part of you wants to do this. That one part of you wants to do that. There's a sense of disharmony here. And I just feel like the more you struggle, the more you push Aries, the more it's just going to feel like things are more frustrated for you. And so there's always a call to maturity with this card. It's really asking you to be the adult in your own head and in your own life. It might also be a time when you're not comparing yourself too harshly against others. It might be a time where you want to get inspiration from what other people are doing, but then follow your own counsel, trust your own higher self, and follow through with what you know you need to do. And also, this could just indicate that it's time to get on the same page in your own head. Instead of having this inner conflict, maybe it's time to be on your own team and really focus all those disparate thoughts and parts of yourself towards something that is more uniform. I feel like Aries, this is going to be a great month to get clear and not to get your energy too scattered in too many directions, but to really focus on what is priority number one and then to handle that with maturity. Next, we're going to go into the second card for Aries, which is advice from your inner wisdom for the month of August. And the card we see here is the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is telling you to dream big. It's the card of dreams. It's a fantasy card. We see castles in the air. We see the cloud with the different objects coming out of it. Some of them are wonderful, like jewels and crowns, symbolizing our greatest hopes. And other images are frightening, like dragons and snakes, which can represent our own shadows, our own fears. And what the Seven of Cups is telling you is that it's all an illusion. All these projections that you might be having, it's all in your head. Especially when we got that Five of Wands accompanying that Seven of Cups card, this could be a time when you're really differentiating between a vision and reality. The Seven of Cups can sometimes be an inspirational card if you're an artist or you're creative and you're trying to get your creative juices flowing. This is an excellent card for that. But where the Seven of Cups can be dangerous is that it doesn't show you truth. It doesn't show you what's really happening. It's showing a really skewed version of what's happening based on your own hopes or fears. And so I feel like a conflict between your hopes and your fears needs to be sorted through. And there needs to be a return to what's really happening here. This might also be a time where you're building this lovely castle in the air. You have this great dream, but now it's time to build a foundation underneath it. And it might be a time to be very practical and methodical in how you're going to build that new foundation. Whenever the Seven of Cups comes up, it really tells you to get clear on what the reality of the situation is and not to get stuck in vision or fantasy too much. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Taurus. So, if you're a Taurus or have a lot of Taurus in your chart, this first card is going to talk to you about where it's best for you to place your focus this next month. And we get the Hermit card. And the Hermit is going through the dark. He only has the lantern to illuminate his way. He can't see the whole path in front of him. And likewise, Taurus, this might be a time where you're walking forward with something and you can't see how the whole story goes, how it ends. And yet, that lantern filled with starlight is a symbol of your own inner wisdom, your own spirit, which has enough information that it's able to see at least the next appropriate step for you to take. And the Hermit reminds you that if you can take this next appropriate step, well, then that lantern's going to illuminate the next step after that, and so on and so forth. This might be a time when you're coming out of the dark. You're coming out of a period of introspection. And also, the Hermit can indicate slow movement. He's an old man with a cane walking over a bunch of snow. He's not moving very fast. This could be a time where that very famous Taurus adage of never rush a Taurus comes into play, or slow and steady wins the race. You might want to just take it easy. And also, the Hermit can indicate that you might need to extract yourself from the influences of other people this next month. It may not be the time to make decisions based on, well, what's going to make this person happy? Or how do I best serve that individual? But instead, to really trust your own counsel and get in touch with that deep, wise center of yourself and ask yourself, what do I really need right now? What am I navigating toward? The next card is going to be advice from your inner wisdom. It's what the Hermit's really illuminating for you. And the card we see here is the Page of Wands. And whenever I see the Page of Wands, I think of the word talent. There is a sense that there's a talent that's getting cultivated. This could also be a time when you're needing to turn within and really access your own innate talents and really use them this next month. This might be a time to remind yourself optimistically of what makes you shine. The Page of Wands is also a figure who's in his beginnings. Much like all pages in the tarot, they're the children of the tarot, and they can represent a life phase that's still in its infancy. And I just feel with the Page of Wands, this could be a time when you need to be optimistic about how something's growing. It's still developing. The figure's holding the staff in front of him that's a lot taller than he is. It's like a measuring rod, and he hasn't quite grown into it all the way yet. And yet he's smiling optimistically. He's like, yeah, I'm getting there, though. So I feel with the Hermit and the Page of Wands, both figures with those staves, how interesting there. This might be a time when you're leaning on your own staff of inner wisdom, and you're also really grasping your own power that's connected to your deeper talents. And I think if you can access that deeper talent this next month, your breakthrough is going to be assured. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Cancer. So if you're a Cancer or have a lot of Cancer in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for August 2023. And we got the Angel of Temperance. And all angels in the tarot for me are messengers from your higher self. They really represent that deeper part of you. And the Angel of Temperance is unique in the tarot because it's a really potent symbol of healing. It appears in the major arcana right amidst all the darkest challenging cards. It's sandwiched in between the Hangman and the Death card, and then also the Devil card and the Tower card. And it's at those dark places when we're really facing something challenging or difficult that sometimes we're put into contact with that transcendent higher being that's within us that knows the answer. And so I think Angel of Temperance is telling you, Cancer, this is going to be a time where you really want to focus on where the healing needs to happen for you. And you might also want to let your higher self take the lead with something emotionally that's been a struggle. Temperance is also a card of moderation and balance. So if something's lopsided in your life, or it feels like all the energy is getting sucked up into this one issue, the Angel of Temperance is telling you to moderate that energy. Pour some of those waters going into that cup into an empty cup in your life right now, and ask yourself what you're really needing to feel fulfilled. The next card for Cancer is going to be advice from your inner wisdom. And we actually get the Nine of Cups, which is a card of setting the table for future success. We see the figure here who's in front of the table set with 9 golden cups all in a row, and he's about to enjoy the banquet. I feel with the Nine of Cups, this could say, you can enjoy it now. The banquet's in front of you. There's that old saying from Auntie Mame with Rosalind Russell where she says, life is a banquet and most poor suckers are starving to death. And this might be a time too, Cancer, where you're like, where am I starving? What's running on empty in my life? Maybe I have to stop hoping and wishing and waiting for this achievement or this personal development and instead enjoy the banquet that's spread in front of me right now. This could also be a time when you're setting the table for some future successes. And so this might be a time when you're really making your preparations, getting all your ducks in a row so you can really enjoy that later banquet. I just feel like this is going to be a month for Cancer where you really want to think optimistically and enjoy things now, but also give yourself the thing that you're needing, especially to that starving part of your heart or soul. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Cancer. So if you're a Cancer or have a lot of Cancer in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for August 2023. And we got the Angel of Temperance. And all angels in the tarot for me are messengers from your higher self. They really represent that deeper part of you. And the Angel of Temperance is unique in the tarot because it's a really potent symbol of healing. It appears in the major arcana right amidst all the darkest challenging cards. It's sandwiched in between the Hangman and the Death card, and then also the Devil card and the Tower card. And it's at those dark places when we're really facing something challenging or difficult that sometimes we're put into contact with that transcendent higher being that's within us that knows the answer. And so I think Angel of Temperance is telling you, Cancer, this is going to be a time where you really want to focus on where the healing needs to happen for you. And you might also want to let your higher self take the lead with something emotionally that's been a struggle. Temperance is also a card of moderation and balance. So if something's lopsided in your life or it feels like all the energy is getting sucked up into this one issue, the Angel of Temperance is telling you to moderate that energy. Pour some of those waters going into that cup into an empty cup in your life right now. And ask yourself what you're really needing to feel fulfilled. The next card for Cancer is going to be advice from your inner wisdom. And we actually get the Nine of Cups, which is a card of setting the table for future success. We see the figure here who's in front of the table set with 9 golden cups all in a row. And he's about to enjoy the banquet. I feel with the Nine of Cups, this could say, you can enjoy it now. The banquet's in front of you. There's that old saying from Auntie Mame with Rosalind Russell where she says, life is a banquet and most poor suckers are starving to death. And this might be a time too, Cancer, where you're like, where am I starving? What's running on empty in my life? Maybe I have to stop hoping and wishing and waiting for this achievement or this personal development and instead enjoy the banquet that's spread in front of me right now. This could also be a time when you're setting the table for some future successes. And so this might be a time when you're really making your preparations, getting all your ducks in a row so you can really enjoy that later banquet. I just feel like this is going to be a month for Cancer where you really want to think optimistically and enjoy things now, but also give yourself the thing that you're needing, especially to that starving part of your heart or soul. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Leo. So if you're a Leo or have a lot of Leo in your chart, this is going to be your message for August. And happy birthday to you August Leos out there. And we have a very Leo card for you here in the Six of Wands. We see the figure who's the center of attention. He's in the parade and he's being lauded by all the people around him. He's crowned with the laurel leaf and has that victory wreath as well attached to the wand. The Six of Wands is telling you that this is a month of achievement or success. Fortune's going to favor the bold for you, Leo. You really want to put your hat in the ring. This is also going to be a time when you can bask in attention. Most people are going to be enjoying what you're bringing to the table. And the Six of Wands is always a really good card for promoting yourself, promoting your own interests, but most importantly, speaking up. The squeaky wheel gets the oil first. And so this card can really tell you to call attention to your cause and watch how that gets resolved. However, although this card does show this person shining and basking in all that wonderful attention, what this card also illustrates is a difficult lesson for people who shine, which is that they're often the target of other people who have a wounded ego or they're weak in their own sense of self. And so they target other people. We see the figure behind the horse on this card who's looking up at the figure on the horse with the face of envy. So I do feel like you almost want to just let it roll right off your back, Leo. You don't want to pay attention to a jealous energy or a competitive energy that might be coming from another. You might also want to rise above somebody who's trying to bring you down a peg and instead not be egotistical, but be proud of who you are and what you're bringing to the table. And remember that the lions don't concern themselves with the concerns of the sheep. Next, we got advice from your inner wisdom if you're a Leo for this next month. And we get the hangman reversed. Now, when the hangman comes up reversed, he's back on his feet again. Upright, he's upside down. So there's sort of this energy of like you're getting back in the ring, you're getting back on your feet. Also, this time of suspension where you're kind of like waiting for the next development could be over. You might have done a lot of inner work on yourself and really developed that inner wisdom. And now it's time for you to step forward. The hangman reversed just indicates progress is going to happen again. And I think this is going to be a time when you are not removing yourself from your goals, but you're really putting yourself out there with that Six of Wands. I also feel like past sacrifices, time, energy, work that you've done on yourself is really going to pay off for you this next month. The hangman is always a card of rewards after a long, extended effort. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Virgo. So if you're a Virgo or have a lot of Virgo in your chart, this first card is going to show where it's best for you to place your focus for August 2023. And the card we get here is the Lovers reversed. Now, a lot of people think the Lovers just has to do with our relationship life, and it absolutely can mean that. Sometimes the Lovers reverse can indicate that there is a relationship conflict that needs to be resolved, or there's some disharmony in a long-standing relationship that you're needing to communicate with, and you're needing to get this all ironed out. But for me, the Lovers card really extends far beyond just lovey-dovey love. The tarot's full of symbols. And on the Lovers card here, we see three potent symbols. We see the male figure, who's looking to the female, who's looking to the angel. The male figure represents your rational, worldly self. It represents your external interests. And he needs to look to the female on the card, who's a symbol for what your heart is telling you, your feelings, your emotions about the situation. And she, in turn, can't just stop at mere feeling. She looks to the angel on the card, which represents her higher self, her super consciousness, that wise, sharp, instinctive part of her. And what these three elements of the card represent are three different aspects of you, Virgo. And something's got disjointed, something's gotten out of balance. One of these parts of you isn't dialoguing clearly with the other. It might feel cut off. And you might be content to just stop at the male figure on the card or the female figure on the card and not go through that whole trifecta of having them all work in alignment. And so I just think this is going to be a month, Virgo, where you're really asking yourself, what part of my life is lopsided? Am I too focused on external concerns? Am I too in my feelings right now and forgetting my higher self's inner wisdom? Or am I so spacey on my spirit work and all of that that I'm neglecting some of that worldly stuff that I need to get done? This is going to be a time when you really want to reharmonize that which felt imbalanced. Next, we got advice from your inner wisdom if you're a Virgo for August. And we got the Strength card, which is just such a lovely card of letting that higher self take the lead as well. The woman on the Strength card is wearing the white gown, and white is that symbol of purity, spirit, the higher self. And she's taming the lion. The lion represents something that feels out of control, something that, if left unchecked, could consume you utterly, could swallow you all up. And what the woman's doing is taming the lion, and she's smiling at it. And it's gently licking her hand as she's closing its jaws. There's a sense that there's something that needs discipline in your life, something that needs to be reined in. It might be something that's been left unchecked for quite some time or created a lot of stress or imbalance for you. And instead, right now, it's time for you to let your higher self take the lead, to really rein in that energy and to exert some control over it. The Strength card can also tell you that you're much stronger than you think you are. And so, Virgo, I think this is a time to really rely on your higher self to choose your moves for you. But it's also going to be a time this next month where you're really reinforcing something through daily action and good choices to gain control over it. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Libra. So, if you're a Libra or have a lot of Libra in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for August 2023. And we got the King of Pentacles reversed. And when he comes up reversed, he can indicate there's some impatience with something, probably something you're trying to be productive in. The Pentacle suit is notorious for dangling in front of us great success eventually, but it's also governed by the element of earth, which is very slow growing. It's like watching a tree grow sometimes as you're trying to see something develop or something finally become complete. And when the King of Pentacles comes up reversed, he can indicate that there's some impatience with this process. The King of Pentacles reverse can also say that this is a time to get more organized in your thinking to be more productive. You might need to take a step back from a project or a job occasionally this next month so that you can reassess it and come back to it in the right spirit or vein. Also, the King of Cups reverse or King of Pentacles reverse can indicate that there is a sense of losing your joy for what you're doing if you're burning out on it, if you're doing it too much. So I just feel like time for recreation or a time where you're maybe being productive with something, but then diverting your attention to something else is going to be so healing for you. This could also be a month where you want to be very practical on a financial level with financial matters, or to really think through something more practically before being impulsive. Next, we got advice from your inner wisdom if you're a Libra. And the card we get is the King of Cups. So two kings. Kings can represent for us that you're mastering something. The kings are the governors of their suits. And in the case of the King of Cups, there's a sense you're needing to govern your own feelings or emotions so that you're not swept away by them. The King of Cups is a mature figure. He looks at things from a distance because he's been around the block. And he could be indicating that the thing that you're working on so toughly with that King of Pentacles reverse, that is what you're needing to handle in a more emotionally mature way. The King of Cups is on a stable stone platform amidst the crashing waves. And this can just indicate that there's a lot of creative energy around you or that emotions may be riding high. And yet you're needing to stay grounded. Also, notice the lotus scepter of the King of Cups. This represents that he is becoming enlightened by his emotional experience. He's letting it in. And he's almost got a toe in the water while he's also planted on that firm foundation. I feel like you're going to want to be in touch with your own emotions or your own feelings this next month, Libra, and you're going to want to let them flow. But you're also going to want to be on guard of being too impatient with yourself, with something that you've been mastering, something that's been culminating for quite some time, and instead have that view of the long game. The King of Cups can also be the record keeper. He's got that whale behind him on the card, and he could tell you that you're needing to consult your own personal history for the answer to the thing that's vexing you right now. That you already have all that innate inner wisdom, and it's time to get back in touch with that deeper wisdom to solve the present impasse. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Scorpio. So if you're a Scorpio or have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, the first card is where it's best for you to place your focus for August 2023. And we get the Queen of Pentacles, who is a wonderful governor of finances, money, and wealth energy. She's interested in long-term goals. And this could just be a time for you, Scorpio, that's very successful. There's money rolling in or opportunities. Also, your patience has been paying off. And despite your anxiety, symbolized by that little rabbit in the bottom corner of the card, it really does show that you're coming out the other side with this issue or this thing. And you're starting to find that your tenacity is really paying off. Also, the Queen of Pentacles could say that it's an important month for you, Scorpio, to get grounded, to get in touch with the earth, to be in nature, or to be very patient with something that's still coming into fruition. The garden around the Queen of Pentacles doesn't appear to be in full abundant bloom yet, but it is growing just as it should. And so I'm just kind of feeling with your own life, it's like something's gotten back on track. And now you're finally getting to this place of progress where you're starting to see, oh, you know what? It's not in full harvest time yet, but there are blooms on the trees. And there is a sense that something's finally blossoming. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Scorpio or have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, is the Eight of Swords reversed. And this is actually a good card when it comes up reversed. It can indicate that you're wriggling out of some old mental traps that are making you feel scared, stuck, unable to move forward. The ropes are loosened when the Eight of Swords is reversed. It could be saying you're stepping out of an old fear that's been paralyzing you. It's been causing you not to act. And that Queen of Pentacles could say, keep your eyes on the prize, keep focused on that larger stability. Also, the Eight of Swords, upright or reversed, will tell you that toxic passivity never solves our problems. When we hope and wish and wait and avoid, we don't actually make our lives better. We just let things accumulate. And what this could say is that this could be a conversation month where you're really saying your piece. You're really being very clear about what's going to create stability or security in your own life. I just feel like you don't want to be held hostage by your fears anymore, Scorpio. So this might be a time where you're really speaking your piece, you're bringing some clarity, and you're re-empowering yourself by returning to what is the long-term goal here. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Sagittarius. So if you're a Sagittarius or have a lot of Sagittarius in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus. And we got the Eight of Cups reversed. And that old saying, all that glitters is not always gold, is coming to mind. The Eight of Cups is telling you that your inner self is calling you. And when it's reversed, it might be a little while since you felt in contact with your own deeper inner needs. This could be a time when you're really prioritizing yourself this next month. And also the figure on the Eight of Cups, he's walking away from the world. He's going to the land of water and grottos, which could indicate that he's getting back in touch with his own deeper emotions, his own deeper feelings. The eclipse that's happening on the card as well, where the moon is blocking out the sun, is saying that you're not interested in the image of things, how things appear on the surface, but instead, like the moon, the inner self eclipsing the sun, the symbol for your external life, your inner life needs to be heard at this time. I feel like depression, sadness can result if you're not speaking your piece. And if you're suffering or going through something that's really difficult, it could be because you're not saying what you need to say. And this could be a time where you're not cruel about it, but you're getting this off your chest so that that authentic transformation can really happen and you can start to see some progress with that emotional impasse. The next card is going to be advice from your inner wisdom for how to confront this Eight of Cups reversed. And we got the Ten of Pentacles. This is a card of family, but it's also a card of community and support. And I feel for you, Sagittarius, that there's more help available for you than might be apparent. You just might have to ask for it. Also, that Ten of Pentacles can indicate stability, security, or working toward a legacy for yourself. It's a card of long-term goals. And it's really a time of you reassessing your life and thinking, what's going to bring me the long-term security or stability? Maybe that stability isn't as shallow as just money or a dollar amount or the right career. Maybe it's really about your heart's desire and what you're really truly feeling. And so I feel with that Eight of Cups reversed, this is a soul searching month for you, Sagittarius. And that Ten of Pentacles is telling you to rely on your loved ones, rely on family, use them as sounding boards, and also heal some disjointed energy that might have been around the family before. This is going to be a time where you're really getting things back on track and secure once again. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Capricorn. So if you're a Capricorn or have a lot of Capricorn in your chart, this first card is where it's best for you to place your focus. We actually get the Five of Pentacles, which is traditionally associated with poverty. Now, this is not to say, oh, watch out, Capricorn, you're going to be very poor this next month, but it can indicate that you want to be cautious with any financial investments, anything that's a little risky or you're feeling on the fence about. That Five of Pentacles is telling you, don't even mess with it. You want to pick that more secure path. But more than a dollar amount, the Five of Pentacles really represents poverty consciousness. And even wealthy people can get stuck in poverty consciousness. It's a thought form of there's not enough. And so I have to struggle and I have to stress out about this because I have to make sure that this need is secured. It's also a consciousness of dumping your energy into a person or a situation where there's no reward. It's just futile. It's like you're just pouring all this into this thing. You're not seeing any progress. This card can say it's time to turn off the spigot to the thing in your life that's just sucking you dry. Five of Pentacles also has to do with our own sense of self-worth or worthiness, which is what poverty consciousness is really about. What we think we're worthy of is what we're going to get. And so if we have a very limited scope of what we think's possible, well, then that's all we're going to have. We're just going to have crumbs. And so this Five of Pentacles could say that this is a time for you to shift what you think's possible for you. It could also be a time to reassess your life right now and ask, where is the energy waster? Where is the thing I'm pouring energy into that isn't bearing fruit? It's time to turn that energy off and instead divert that energy towards something that does start to create something to cultivate in your life. Next is going to be advice from your inner wisdom if you're a Capricorn for this next month of August. And we see the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles, another Pentacles card, it's so Capricornian. There's a sense that there's this very patient, earthy energy that's around you this next month. It might also be a time where you're eager to see something turn around on a financial level or concerning your own security, but it feels stuck right now. The Knight of Pentacles is in front of that field that's brown. He wants it to be verdant and green and grow, and it's just not doing anything right now. And he's on the only horse in the tarot that's at the standstill. It's waiting. And so this can indicate, Capricorn, that you have to accept the number one word that everyone hates to hear in a tarot reading, which is patience. It just isn't the time. You have to take a little bit more time with something that you're trying to see grow or thrive. Also, the Knight of Pentacles for me is associated with the astrological sign of Virgo, which has all to do with the details. You may not see sweeping progress with something, especially related to career, finances, or personal value or wealth this next month, but you may need to analyze the situation. You may need to look at the details. You might find something is stalled, but it's going to give you the perfect opportunity to reassess and really recalibrate what are all the details. Because I feel for you, Capricorn, this next month, the details do matter. And so this is a time to breathe, to stop, to reassess, and to notice where the energy is being wasted, and instead divert that energy toward what's going to bring prosperity for you, both financially and also spiritually. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Aquarius. So if you're an Aquarius or have a lot of Aquarius in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for August. And the card we get here is the Ace of Cups. And if you look up this card online or in my book, you'll see that it will often have to do with love. The Ace of Cups is the love card. And where it's best for you to place your focus, Aquarius, is love. This could be love towards a person, or sometimes the Ace of Cups calls us towards our bliss, what we're passionate about. And the waters are overflowing from the cup, replenishing the pond below. There's a sense that when you give yourself love or pour your energy into what you love, it actually refills you. It actually makes you feel optimistic. This is also a card of rebirth, renewal, and also positive new beginnings, emotionally speaking. So this could be a great time to create new relationships or put your heart out there. It's also a great month to feel. And sometimes Aquarius has a reputation for shutting their feelings off like a light switch and detaching from them. But I feel with this Ace of Cups, this could be a time when you're really giving yourself over to the full sensory experience. I just feel like something is to be enjoyed this next month, and you want to open your heart to what you love most about your life. Next is going to be advice from your inner wisdom, if you're an Aquarius. And we see the Two of Pentacles, which also shows that watery element so prevalently in the card. We see the wavy waters behind the juggler. There's a sense that for you, Aquarius, you're needing to be flexible and adaptable, but you're also needing to let your feelings flow. Water in the tarot, they represent our emotions and our emotional responses to the things that are happening. And the Two of Pentacles shows someone who's humorous. He's got an elastic quality to him. He isn't rigid at all. He's able to roll with the waves, just like the sailboats behind him. He keeps his sense of humor with all the things that are happening. I just think that there's some joy that needs to happen here, especially with two different possibilities that you're weighing or juggling at this time. I also feel like if you're juggling between two different things, this Two of Pentacles could say, choose the thing that makes you happy. Choose the thing that gives you what you want. This is going to be a time when you really want to just open yourself to humor, positive energy, and flexibility this next month. The worst thing you can do this next month, Aquarius, is be rigid or fixed in your expectations for how you think things should go. This card is telling you to roll with the energy. And last but certainly not least, we go into the astrological sign of Pisces. So if you're a Pisces or have a lot of Pisces in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for this next month. And the card we get is the Emperor card. And the Emperor is about going for it. He is the figure who is about firm foundations for worldly success. He's also flanked by mountains, which can be symbols for boundaries. The Emperor is the quintessential male card of the tarot. He can indicate that there's a lot of concerns surrounding men or some sort of external male figure that you're needing to either stand up to or work in cooperation with. But I feel like this card is mostly saying it's time to be assertive. It's time to be declarative about what it is that you want to accomplish or what you want to do. Also, trust your wisdom. The beard of the emperor symbolizes his wisdom that he's achieved with age and time. This could be a time when success is going to come from you when you're really tapping into your own personal experience. But I just feel go for it whenever we see the emperor card. He's telling you to be assertive and direct and not to be too waffling in your emotions or your feelings, but instead to just be declarative and to go for it. Next card for Pisces is advice from your inner wisdom for August, and we get the Nine of Wands reversed. This card can say that it's time to release a chip that's been on your shoulder, especially if you've been griping about something. When I see the Nine of Wands reversed next to the Emperor, the thing that I'm feeling you might be complaining about the most is actually the result of you not maintaining a boundary, not putting that boundary up, not being very clear with others. And so it's like, well, why is this happening to me? Poor me. I'm getting this thing going on. Nine of Wands reversed is like, put the boundary up. Build the fence with the Nine Wands. Also, that Emperor, that boundary energy, that declarative, assertive energy is what's really going to be a big game changer for you. The Nine of Wands, upright or reversed, is telling you you're more resilient than the griping part of you is going to think. This could also be a time when you might be getting angry about something, but with that Emperor card, it's time to channel that anger constructively. Do something with it that actually improves the situation instead of just makes you feel powerless in the face of it. The Nine of Wands reversed is telling you that as soon as you get those boundaries up and as soon as you start establishing what other people should be doing with you, as Dr. Phil would say, you teach people how to treat you, you really need to put your focus on that. That's what's going to turn all the energy around for you. And that is this month's Tarotscope for every astrological sign. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you appreciate my approach to tarot, please like, subscribe, share the content with a friend, and just get it out there. Also, if you like my approach to tarot, you're absolutely going to love my books. Fearless Tarot, which takes a fearless approach to the tarot. It's focused on personal empowerment instead of feeling paralyzed with fear when we get difficult or darker cards. And then also Tarot in Love, which shows us not just how the cards talk about our own love relationships, but it really does a deep dive into the different personalities of the tarot and what the cards could be talking about when we're looking at different people in our lives. And if you do enjoy those books, please do me a favor and rate and review them. Any kind reviews really help my work get out there more. Also, if you want to schedule a personal reading with me and have some one-on-one time, go to elliotoracle.com. I'd love to speak with you sometime in the future. And otherwise, I hope you all have a safe and happy month of August, and do take care. I'll see you again here next month. So have a fun time.